Hi and welcome to Chanakya Capital. Today we will be going through the complete guide to building skills for cloud. This is provided by Anthropic and this is a PDF of 33 pages that we're going to be reading together and understanding the most important part of it. And non-important part will be left aside because we do not gonna be putting a lot of time in this. So let's move on. You can even put it on standby and listen to what I'm saying. Okay, let's move on. Contents are simple: introduction, fundamentals, planning and design, testing and iteration, distribution and sharing, patterns and troubleshooting, resources and references. Before moving on, I can just simply tell you what it is. There is a customization uh, feature that has been given by Claude today, that you can just put on a skill.md file, that is a simple folder where you give this to Claude, and Claude what actually does is your repeated work is actually then done by it by one go because Claude already had that skill.md file. Now moving on chapter 1, that is introduction, and we have to first understand what is skill. A skill is a set of instructions packaged as a simple folder that I was telling you that teaches Claude how to handle specific tasks or workflows. Skills are one of the most powerful ways to customize Claude for your specific needs. Instead of re explaining your preferences, processes, and domain expertise in every conversation, skills let you teach Claude once and benefit every time. Skills are powerful when you have repeatable workflows, generating front end design for specs, conducting research with consistent methodology, creating documents that flow your team style guide, or orchestrating multiple step processes. So these all are actually kind of built in execution for Claude. What we're going to be learning is technical requirement and best practices for skill structures. And there are two parts through this, and let's move on. And let's just go on chapter 1, that is fundamentals. Fundamentals tells you what is a skill. Skill is simple folder. Skill is a simple folder and it is called skill.md. It has a script, it has references and assets like templates, fonts, icons used in input. Core design principle, progressive disclosures, like for example, Claude load always loaded in Claude system prompt. Whatever this skill file has provides us enough information for Claude to know when each skill should be used without loading all of it into context. Second level will be loaded when Claude thinks the skill is relevant to the current task, contains a full instruction and guidance. And third level will be additional files bundled within the skill directory that Claude can choose to navigate and discover only as needed. This progressive disclosure minimizes token usage while maintaining specialized expertise. That is very good. Now, if you know MCP, it is something model protocol. And MCP connectivity and skill knowledge. So connects Claude to your services. For example, I want, like Notion is a very good platform. I want to connect Notion with Claude. What it will do teaches Claude how to use your service effectively. Then provide real-time data access and tool invocation, captures workflow and best practices. What Claude can do and how Claude should do it. So the connectivity tells what Claude can do and skills tell it how Claude should do it. Why this matter for your MCP users? Without skill, with skill, I don't think so. This is really important. Now we have to come to chapter 2, that is planning and design. That now here we have the use case, which is the most important part of it. I have once gone through this PDF and found this one the most important part of it. Start with use case. Before writing any code, identify 2-3 concrete use case your skills should enable. Okay, ask yourself, what does a user want to accomplish? What multiple step workflow does this require? Which tools are needed, built in or MCP? What domain knowledge best practices should be embedded? And if you do not know, these skills can be just uploaded with link based, and day by day I'm going to be putting it in the description. I do not have everything at one go today, but slowly I'm going to be putting it in the description, so please come again and see it. Now the most important section starts here. Common skill use case categories. At Anthropic we have observed three common use cases. So three common use cases that are going to be coming here. सबसे पहले है category 1, documents and asset creation, used for creating consistent high quality output including documents, presentation, apps, design and code. So if you see Claude, it is used mostly by professional, but if I guess correctly, 60% of time it is used by a student, and students really need this. So real example could be front end design skills. Also see skills for docx, that is Word document, PPT, Excel and PPT. For example, create distinctive production grade front end interface with high design quality, used when building web component, pages, artifact, posters or application. Key techniques would be embedded style guide and brand standard, template structure for consistent output, quality check before finalizing, no external tool required, uses Claude built-in capability. For example, let's see that I have to build a PPT for a case study. Okay, for my college. Now I can use Notion and upload all my PDFs, and Notion do all the research. Now what Notion cannot do is build a good PPT, but what Claude could do is to take all this and take it and then give me an output called as PPTX. Now what I have to do is put the skill.md file for Notion with all these repetitive tasks built in that simple folder. So you do not have to do anything. You just have to tell Claude that this has to be done, and Claude will go to this skill.md file and see what has to be done and make a good PPT file for you. Now if it is not for college, it is for office and you have to do it on daily basis, it is also good for that. Let's move on and see case study. Category 2, used for multiple step processes that benefit from consistent methodology including coordination across multiple MCP server. Real example is skill creator skill. Interactive guide for creating new skill. Walk the user through use case definition, front matter generation, instruction writing and validation. Key techniques would be step-by-step workflow with validation gates, template for common structure, built-in review for improvement suggestion and interactive refinement loops. So you are just putting it in that simple folder and your work is done on everyday basis. Category 3 is MCP enhancement. MCP is model protocol. Uh, for example, used for workflow guidance to enhance the tool access to MCP server provider. Real-time example would be Sentry code review skills, and something same not very attractive to me now. Now define success criteria. How will you know your skill is working? How do you know that? These are aspirational targets, rough benchmark rather than precise threshold. Aim for rigor but accept that there will be an element for vibe-based assessment. We are actively developing most robust measurement guidance and tooling. So quantitative metrics skill triggers on 90% of the relevant queries. How to measure? Run 10-20 test queries that should trigger your skill, track how many times it will do automatically, what's the required explicit innovation. So this is what Claude is telling to just, if you want, you can see the qualitative metrics and quantitative metrics. We are not very used to it. Now we have to understand the technical requirements. So file structure will be skill.md that I'm telling you. If you do not understand it, Not a worry. We gonna understand how to uh, upload it. It is very simple. It is not very technical that you have to understand it. This PDF will tell you everything. Now skill.md naming skill must be exactly skill.md case sensitivities. No variation accepted. Okay. Skill folder names, like how the name should be. Uh, it should have, like for example, Notion, project, setup. So you cannot have spaces in between. So you should use this. So this is just a simple of it, and you cannot just use black this backslash which we use usually. This is not required. No readme.md. Don't include readme.md inside your skill folder. All document goes in skill.md or references. Okay. Field requirement, name required kebab cases only. No space or capitals. Should match folder name. Name your skill name. So how you will use it. Actually, they are telling you how you will use it. So what you have to do, actually I'm also understanding this for the first time, so if I'm saying something wrong, so just be with the flow. So what you have to do is, first of all, name what skill is you want to use, and just describe for what purposes you are using for this time. And it will, that's what they are saying, that minimal required format. Okay. Description must include both what skill does and how to use it. Under 1024 character, no. XML tags include specific tasks user might say. They have given a good thing, but nobody gonna be interested in this. Writing effective skills. Let's move on to this. The description field. According to Anthropic Engineering blog, the metadata provides just enough information for Claude to know when each skill should be used without loading all of it into context, like writing everything in it. So this is the first level of progressive disclosure. Structure is what it does, when to use it, and keep capabilities. Let's see the example. Good, specific, and actionable description. Analyze Figma design files and generate developer hand of documentation. Use when user uploads .fig files. Ask for design specs, comment documentation, or design to code handoff. Include trigger phrases description. Manages linear project workflows, include sprint planning, task creation, and tracks status tracking. Use when user mentions sprint, linear task, project planning, and ask to create ticket. So simply describing how, when is that trigger point, when to use it. Last, when we are seeing this example, end-to-end customer onboarding workflow for Playflow handles account creation, payment setup, and subscription management. Now, when to use it, what it does, when to use it, and key capabilities you can add here. Key capabilities. Now, moving on, example of a bad description, too vague. Helps with project, no. Writing main instruction. Now, this is how you're going to be using your skill. Your skill name, description, okay, and your skill name instruction step 1. You can see it in the example coming up. Now example 1 says, user says set up a new marketing campaign. Okay, action fetching existing campaign via MCP, create new campaign with provided parameter, result campaign created with confirmation link. Great. Best practices for instruction. Run Python script to check the data. If validation fail, common issue include bad validator data before proceeding. So this is some example how to use it. Now we have to do testing and iteration. Testing. Skills can be tested at varying levels at rigor depending on your need. Manual testing in Claude AI, run queries directly and observe behavior and fast iteration, no setup required. Scripted testing in Claude Code automate test cases for repeatable validation across changes. Programmatic testing via Skills API build evaluation suites that run systematically against definition tests. So the most easy one is this: just go on Claude AI and run your query. Choose the approach that matches your quality requirement and the visibility of your skill. A skill used internally by a small team has different testing needs than one deployed to thousands of enterprise users. Of course, if you have thousands of people, you have that paid version. Let's move on. We have found that most effective skill creators iterate on a single challenging task until Claude succeeds. Then extract the winning approach into skill, and this leverage the Claudes and context learning and provide faster signal than broad tests. Simply what they are saying, uh, first of all, check it. If you found any loopholes, found a solution through Claude only, and when you found that solution, add it to your skill.md file. That's how you're gonna improve your skill set. So this is simple if you do not haven't understood by reading this. A recommended testing approach is goal to ensure a skill loads at the right times, triggers on obvious tasks, triggers on paraphrase requests, doesn't trigger on unrelated topics. So how you will do it? Should trigger help me set up a new project hub workspace. I need to create a project in project hub. Initialize a project hub uh, for Q4 planning. Should not trigger. What's the weather in something really stupid? Okay. Functional test. Goal is to verify the skill produces correct output. Validate output, generate API call, succeed, error handling works, edge cases covered. See what I have just explained you here. It's saying the same thing in different way, like functional test, performance comparison, uh, and this using the skill creator skill skill. Let's understand this is something new. The skill creator skill available in Claude AI with plugin directory or download from Claude Code can help you build iterate on skill. If you have MCP server and know your top 2-3 workflow, you should build and test a functional skill in a single sitting, often 15 to 30 minutes. See, the whole setup will take you maximum 30 minutes and including test. I have done it, so it is quite easy. Creating skill generates skill for natural language description, produce properly formatted skill.md with front matter. To be honest, most of the skill md are available through links, especially on GitHubs. I will providing the link in description so you can see from there, so you do not have to do all these. Next, move on distribution and sharing. Okay, how would we distribute it and share it? So skills make your MCP integration more complete as user compare connectors. Those with skills offer a faster path to value, giving you an edge over MCP only alternatives. Current distribution model, what they are saying is download the skill folder. That will be a zip file if needed. Uh, Go to Claude AI, we are setting capabilities, add the skills, or place the Claude Code skill directly. Organize level skills. Admin can deploy skills workplace wide, automatic updates, centralized management, an open standard. We have published agent skill as an open standard, so they have something this like MCP and all. Nothing much to learn here. What is the recommended approach today? So what I was saying actually, starting with hosting your skill on GitHub with a public repo, clear readme for human visitor. This is separate from skill folder, which should not contain a read. So one thing that they are saying again and again, that your skill.md should not have readme.md. Okay, so see that. Host on GitHub, document in your MCP repo, create installation guide. So now this is distribution which is you can do. So positioning your skill, how you describe your skill determines what user understands its value and actually try. And when try about your skill in your readme documentation marketing, keep principles in mind. Principle which we have just learned above, how to keep the skill.md. The project, for example, the focus on outcomes, not feature. The project's skill enables teams to set up a complete project workspace in seconds, include pages, database, and templates, instead of spending 30 minutes on manual setup, which we have seen which would take obviously. Bad would be the project skills is a folder containing YML formatter, which was actually the first level if you were reading with me, and markdown instruction and all these. Now patterns and troubleshooting, last, most probably last one. Patterns and troubleshooting. The patterns emerged from skill created by early adopter and internal teams. They represent common approach we have seen working well, not prescriptive templates. So how to choose your approach: problem first versus tool first. Think of it like a home depot. You may be walking in with a problem. I need to fix a kitchen cabinet, and an employee points you to the right tool, or you might pick up a new drill and ask how to use it for a specific job. Skill work the same way. Problem first, I need to set up a project workspace. Your skill orchestrator the right MCP, calls into the right sequence. User describes outcomes. The skill handles the tool. Now tool first, I have Notion MCP connected. Your skill teaches Claude the optimized workflow and best practices. User have access and skill provide expertise. Simply telling you in simple words is, either you can tell Claude that I have a tool and use it for my particular problem, or you have a problem. So Claude either sees problem and then use the tool, or either you tell that this is a tool and this is a solution. This is something very interactive. Nothing much. This is just patterns. If you want to read it, you can read it. There will be troubleshooting and all. Then resources and references. Nothing much here. Let's just read a few of references and I will end it here. Resources and references. If you are building your first skill, start with best practice guide, then refer to API docs as required. So best practice guide, if you click it, you will go skill. I will put this all links in description, so see from there. API references, blogs are there, tools and these are there. This is a checklist. I think so I will end it here. So if you want a lot of skills, I'm going to be putting a lot of links in GitHub, and for sure not in one go. I will be putting again and again in comments, not in description. I will not disturb that. I will be putting it, and if you have it, put it in comments. And thank you for listening to the end.